Porsche came in way after Ferrari. Now our next friend is going to deliver in Russian. So everybody, oh, no? In English? And in 8 minutes.
Hope so.
Great.
I will try to be brief. Yes.
I promise you I will speak in German.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Viktor Gornov, and now I represent here in Moscow City, and I will try to say some words about energy efficiency programs which run our city, our government. But when I talk about the energy efficiency, you must consider that I also talk about the CO2 emissions reduction. So, well, let us begin. Moscow city government is implementing 2 city programs on energy saving, house construction, or whole renovation of residential apartment buildings. The programs are being implemented by 2020 and will provide 40% decrease of energy consumption in residential and public buildings in Moscow. In fact, the energy efficiency of house construction today will form the energy and environmental efficiency of the city tomorrow. The total area of newly built flats in Moscow is approximately 3 million square meters per year. Energy conservation in residential and public buildings in Moscow is achieved through wide use of new thermal insulation and construction materials, as well as innovative technology and equipment which use alternative and renewable energy sources. In the year 2000, Moscow city government issued a new requirement for heat-saving standards of the enclosing structures of building. As a result, the outer walls and windows of residential buildings save up 2 times more heat than in comparison with those that existed in the Soviet Union. This was the first substantial step in the execution of the energy construction policy of the city, which was accompanied by a reorganization of the construction industry, mastering the production of new materials and design. So the second phase of the Moscow energy conservation policy is the introduction of a new standard of the specific consumption of thermal energy in residential and public buildings. The new regulations has reduced the standard down to 160 kilowatt hour per square meters a year. You can compare it with the numbers which my Berlin colleague mentioned. For the first time in Russia, the overall energy consumption costs have been standardized in such areas as heating, ventilation, hot water supply, air conditioning, and lighting. And altogether we have 160. Due to the program of energy efficiency house building, the city is transitioning to the latest technologies, technical solutions, and equipment for the active energy saving approach. Here I must mention that when I say active, I don't mean passive as you may make the walls thicker. Active means that we're talking about ventilation systems which recover and utilize waste energy of ventilation emissions, heat pump systems for heating and cooling, which use ground heat and other alternative energy resources, as well as the control systems for supplying energy resources and creating indoor climate. The most efficient way of energy saving can be achieved especially through these areas. So the following energy savings building and facilities have already been built in Moscow and are equipped and being maintained by engineering systems which use non-traditional and alternative energy resources. Here you can see an energy efficient 70-story residential apartment building equipped with heat pump systems for hot water supply using the energy of ground and ventilation emissions. Then here is the so-called warm houses building in residential estate of Kurkino, which with enhanced heat-saving enclosures and heat recovery from ventilation. And here you can see a heat pump station in the town of Zelenograd, which utilizes low-grade waste heat from untreated sewage drains. So that's not all. We have also buildings and demonstration complex, Ecopark Fili, and so on, so on. And this construction save up to from 40 to 60% of the replaceable heat capacity. So the program overall renovation of residential apartment buildings provides the overall renovation for approximately 14,000 buildings with a total area of 117 million square meters until the year 2015. The overall renovation includes installation of facades, modernizing the window and balcony blocks, installation of automatic heating systems control units, modern heating devices with thermostats, and fixing the energy-saving lighting in the building's entrances. Attainable level of energy saving is 30%. By the year 2012, we plan to upgrade about 2,200 buildings constructed in 60s and 70s to the current energy saving standards. From 2011, each such building will have a respective labeling to indicate high or acceptable level of energy efficient standards. From the year 2012, we plan to introduce a new financial system for overall renovation, which will enable the owner's management committee to control the funds. Residents will have the opportunity to become the actual contractors. To participate in the program, an application form will have to be submitted, and the applications will be evaluated on the basis of criteria enforced and regulated by the Moscow city government. During the implementation of these programs, we estimate to reduce thermal energy consumption by the year 2020 from 69 million megawatt hours, in the case if we will not save energy at all, to 38 million, and that will let us to reduce CO2 emissions in the year 2020 for 6.7 million tons. And one more thing that I would like to notice. The distinctive feature of the energy-saving policy of Moscow City is a comprehensive approach to the assessment of effectiveness of energy-saving activities. The effectiveness of energy-saving can be achieved only if climate conditions, thermoelectric power plant and power generation equipment, heating and electrical networks, and the building itself are considered as components of a single eco-energy system. We no longer have a right to address the problem of energy saving from an energy producer point of view and consumer's point of view separately, as their strategic interests are mutually exclusive. The energy producing companies are interested to maximize the sales volume of energy resources, and the strategic interest of a consumer is to minimize the consumption of the latter. Only an integral approach to energy conservation can balance their interest. Thank you.